All right, so this is the one that we'll use. This is the take that we're going to use.
This is the podcast now?
Well, I can edit it out, but I gotta get my coffee. So we will be less than ideal. Okay.
Hey, what's up?
Good claps. Just making sure everything works.
Starting the rhythm. Getting this up. You're gonna play music over this part?
I don't know. Maybe we'll fade into it.
Some nice jazz.
You're giving me so much work to do. I'm gonna have to like lower the I have to lower the volume on the.
No, I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna.
All right.
Be a handful.
Well, this is episode 4 of Chaotic Tired. I don't think we've ever done like an official intro where we say the title first thing. I think literally last episode, me and Tyler, who created this, forgot what the title was because it had been so long in between
the first
episodes.
Did it even have a title? Did you say the first episode?
We didn't have a title in the first episode,
yeah.
And then I decided it in between posting the first episode and making the second episode.
Mm-hmm.
But joining me today will be a long time friend, Mr. Caleb.
That's me.
That's me.
I'm Mr. What?
He is a mister.
No, wait. It's me. Not you. Can't do that.
Well, we're gonna say it. This is Caleb. I hope that he'll be recording many more episodes with me now that he is officially taking the plunge and recording an episode.
Hey, are there a lot of cusses in this? Can we cusses?
You can cuss if you want.
Awesome.
I try and just keep it as not cuss as possible, but there are definitely cusses in it, and I do not bleep them.
Yeah, okay.
So, Tyler, he has a habit of saying the N-word. It's not good.
Oh, God.
The editing is a nightmare.
I was listening to the episode. It was horrifying.
God.
Jeez.
Well.
And the anti-Semitism, too.
Yeah, it's awful. Well, the first thing that I wanted to do with you, now that you're officially a member of the podcast, you still have one more layer that you need to get by in this sort of application process, this interview of sorts. You have to impress the viewers.
Oh, God.
So I have come up with a list of questions. And in the beginning, they'll just be like normal sort of questions, no time restrictions or anything on that, but we're going to get into sort of a, pick up the speed, a lightning round of sorts. So just first question, where did we first meet? Do you remember? I know the answer to a lot of these, like, non-opinion questions.
So this is going to be bad because, for some reason, a large number of my memories from my homeschool years and the co-ops are wiped. So
What?
I know that I knew you. I don't think we were actually, like, close friends, but I knew you existed.
We were in the same class. We were in the same class. We went to a homeschool co-op where a bunch of homeschoolers will meet.
Blew up the waveform. Sorry, I'm trying to.
Not an issue at all. I can go in and change the volume, but
keep the curtain closed.
Yes, we definitely were in the same class. We were at a co-op where a bunch of homeschooler kids would go once a week, and they would all kind of learn the same material at once. So just kind of some semblance of social interaction for homeschoolers.
Yeah.
But you stick with your grade. And my grade, my age group, the kids that were like 96, 97 kids, it was 10 girls and me. So they were like, why don't we hold him back? Every class is learning the same material. Like, it's just memory work. It's the same material. Yeah. So like I was a fourth grader in the third grade class. And I think you were a second grader in the third grade class because it was kind of the same situation. Like, there was just nobody in the second grade class.
Dear Lord, yeah, I definitely don't remember that far back.
So we were in that class, or
I remember the building.
Yeah, you remember? Yeah, it was.
Church.
I don't even know. I don't remember what city it's in, but I remember the building so well.
Yeah.
But we were in that class together, and then I took off a year because my mom got pregnant, and she just didn't have the energy to bus us back and forth to that every week. So we took off a year, and then we came back, and then we were in the same class again, and she actually taught you. Do you remember that? She no,
I swear. Classical Conversations was interesting for me because I didn't put in effort.
I remember
long
you sitting
time.
in class drawing superheroes.
Yeah. Okay,
I have a
that
vivid
sounds
memory of
very
you
accurate.
teaching me how to draw like a bicep on a muscle.
Legit?
Yeah, and I was like, give him more muscles, and you drew like 8 biceps on this really long arm. Because you had just figured out, yeah, if you cross in and then a little bit lower cross in, and you put like so many different muscles that didn't exist on this superhero character.
I'm so sorry I forgot this stuff. This is good.
It was very funny.
Oh my
All right,
God.
so next question. After that 6th grade, 5th grade for you, we didn't see each other for a while. When did we see each other again? When did we reconnect?
Well, I was in private school in 6th grade, so it'd probably be 7th grade because in 8th grade I was in an online class.
When we reconnected?
When we reconnected. Well, I'm tracking classical conversations time here, because I remember we moved to like there was a stage where Colonial was hosting us instead of the old.
Yes,
place.
yeah.
And I would have. I was in online classes in 8th grade, and I don't think I was doing classical conversations then. It was Veritas Press stuff. So
Did you
my 7th grade?
Did you do classical conversations in your 6th grade? You were in the classical building or in the
No, in my 6th grade I was at a private school. I was at Cary Christian.
Okay, that's yeah.
Yeah.
Did your siblings continue to do classical conversations while you were in private school, or
they might have for the first year I was in there, but I know my brother Aiden at least was also at Cary Christian. I think that year. So it kind of got split up. My mom started like throwing us in different directions. Like she did homeschool for a long time, and then was like, "Wow, there's 5 kids. Hold up, just all right. You're gonna go here, and you're gonna go here." And then she kind of on and off homeschooled us after that for a while. And now in high school, we all kind of most of my brothers have all gone to STEM, which is not.
My mom had trouble keeping up with 3, and then I kind of left for college, and she was like, "Okay, this is manageable." Parker. You know, he was in high school at that point, and he was kind of doing his own thing, so she only had to worry about Colby. But your siblings are pretty close in age, right?
Close in age? Yeah. It's like more or less one every 2 years.
Oof. That's a good block. You'll get a lot. But like, I didn't think we reconnected until college.
Yeah. Well, if you were there at Colonial. See, I don't really remember interacting with you that much at Colonial. I remember Eric was at one of my birthday parties.
Eric Jordan.
Eric Jordan was cool.
I saw him at a Panera about 3 months ago, and I stared at him for about 10 minutes, and I was like, is that Eric Jordan? And then I left and just forgot about it. And a month later, I checked his Facebook, and he had taken a picture in that Panera bread because he had the same T-shirt, and I could see he was sitting in the same position that person was sitting in. I'm like, oh my god, it was Eric Jordan.
So, I wonder what he does now. We'll never know.
Never know.
Never know. So he's gone. He's dissipated out of my life.
Yes.
But he was at my it was not my. There's no way it was my 16th birthday party. Was he at my 6th? No. He was at one of my birthday parties, after I was kind of out of homeschooling, which is interesting. I think, if I remember correctly.
You look like you had a panic attack when you're like, oh my god, what was he at my 16th birthday party?
That would be crazy. That would be
insane.
Because I would be too far into high school to still, because I didn't have really an avenue of communicating with him.
Yeah. When did we meet? Again.
Okay,
when did you lock eyes with me and say, "Hey, I know you"?
109.
109, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
recent enough that my memory has not dissipated completely. I don't know why. That's all that's gone. But yeah, I remember 109.
I think that would have been fall 2016.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that, that was your freshman year, right? Or were you still not even officially
I was still in high school. I was still taking classes at Wake STEM Early College High School. So if I do anything stupid on the podcast, and for some reason people actually listen to it,
it's their fault.
Yeah,
they didn't educate you
as
enough.
An alumni. I can represent my school horribly. But yeah, I was still in high school, and I took 3, maybe 3. I didn't have any high school classes at all. Just 3 college classes, and it was the coolest semester ever. 109. Probably
Calc 3.
Calc 3, and then 200. Wait. What was it? I don't remember what the other class. C. C was 109. Wait.
That was assembly.
Oh wait, I know.
109 was assembly. You're jumbling up everything.
Yeah, no, 109 was assembly, and that was with freaking guy.
This podcast is just a never-ending quest for me to flex on how much I remember my curriculum,
So what
my schooling.
What I'm thinking of is definitely 209 for C. That's C. Right?
That was the next semester.
Yeah, that was the semester after. So I got that straight.
I was somewhat a semester behind in engineering classes, and you were a semester ahead. So even though we didn't like enter in on the same year, there was a good block of like a year and a half where we took all of the same classes together, which was really cool.
My class schedule has been wacky, but yeah, I remember that. And we were also in the same Calc 3 class, interestingly.
Yeah, so in Calc 3, that was when I saw him and I was like, no way, is that Caleb? I was starting to recognize you. And then in 109, we literally sat next to each other on accident the first day, and I was like, are you Caleb Hedges? And he's like, yeah.
That was the most bizarre thing in the world, because I am getting over being incredibly socially awkward at all times, but I was, and I had not been looking to my left and right. I did not register that you were there, and if I had, I probably would have had like a vague, I know this person.
Huh. And then just let it go.
You came at me with Caleb? I remember this very specifically. Caleb Hedges? And like patent Chad intonation way of speaking.
I had seen Groundhog Day for the first time like within a year of that, and I forget what the main guy's name is. Oh my god. But he does a thing where he's like, he says it like that. He's like, Caleb Hedges?
He says my name?
Except it's the actual guy's name. And he does this about 50 times because the day repeats. But now whenever I'm like recognizing somebody as a joke, I say it like that. Well, anyway, that was question 2. This might be the entire episode. So anyway, this is an official interview, so I just wanted to ask how did you hear about this position?
How did I hear? You asked me to come on the podcast because I invited you to a concert.
Interesting. Yes. Well, that was just a question for corporate.
I think I had heard that you had a podcast, but it was like a little bit ago. Because this did start like a.
Oh, I've been basically tapping all of my friends that I think would be really fun to have. So like I've asked you, I asked Tyler again.
I'm flattered.
I don't know. I want to ask Ainsley again. I want to get her back on. And then
Ainsley is now more than a friend.
More than a friend. You got the whole skinny on the last episode.
Yeah, I kind of figured when you said you were inviting her to the concert.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless she just really likes Jack White.
No, we've been dating for about 9 months now.
Cool.
Yeah. Nice. Who else do I want to invite? I want to invite my friend from New York. My friend from New York and I recorded an episode back when, 10 months ago when we did the other episodes. Mm-hmm. And I recorded it on OBS. And I was listening to it and I was like, oh my God, I just realized this is just one audio file. If one of us is really loud and one of us is really quiet, it just wouldn't work because I wouldn't be able to go in and change the volume.
Yeah.
And then I went and recorded the other podcasts and realized, oh God, we're using one mic, so there is only one audio file. So I threw that one away for no reason. I really should go find it off of my computer that just now crashed. Lost episode, honestly.
Episode 4.5.
Maybe. Yeah, but I'd like to have him back on and figure out how we can make that happen. That would be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to a concert in like 5 months, and it's the longest I've ever planned anything. It's the longest amount of time where I've been like, yeah, in 5 months, I have no idea what's going on, but I will commit to this 100%.
And I 100% did not buy the ticket insurance, so you cannot.
No.
So many fees, and then you add that one on top of it. But at least we get CDs because everyone listens to those.
Oh, it's actually a physical copy?
Yeah, we get actual physical. I get 4. They're gonna mail me 4 physical CDs of the album.
That's pretty cool.
Which actually comes out June 23rd or something. I thought it was this month.
Well, that'll be enough time to listen to it a few times before the concert, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That'll be cool. All right, so next question.
Quite a few times.
We're getting kind of into the lightning round, so you can answer these a little bit more quickly. What is your favorite food?
Burritos, maybe.
Burritos.
I like. Yeah, I like the compact way of putting a lot of flavor in like a little pouch.
You like the package of the meat and the beans and the vegetables.
You can get a lot of variety in there, but I usually don't. I usually just get a lot of beef. It's great.
The food's okay, but the idea is great, and the execution.
Perfect.
Don't get me started.
Just go to most.
So that was your favorite food. Favorite mood?
I like when I feel like I know what I'm doing. Is that a mood?
Competent.
Yeah. I was gonna say competent, but I was literally gonna say competent, but I didn't feel like that would translate as well, so I was gonna try to justify myself.
Yeah.
I like feeling competent.
That's a good mood.
Yeah. It usually happens when I actually get good sleep.
I get it when I'm working on programming, and it actually starts working.
Hell yeah.
My goal of doing electrical engineering was to avoid programming completely because I had no experience and I did not think I would enjoy it. And then turns out in the year 2018, 2019, they force you to do coding no matter what engineering you're doing. It just doesn't matter. You just have to do coding. And some of my assignments where I code, it's like that's the biggest payoff. It's very frustrating, but that's where I feel most competent when I figure something out.
Yeah, that's why I want to get back to classes. I haven't done that in a whole semester, and I'm going to get rusty.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go a little bit faster with these, all right? Second favorite food?
I don't know. I eat a lot of pizza.
Pizza. Favorite hobby?
Playing guitar.
Favorite hobby that we share?
I haven't played video games with you in a while, but I would probably say that.
We played Overwatch for a little bit.
We should play Overwatch again because of this new feature.
Yeah.
And, our mutual love of coding, because we're both so very good at coding.
I didn't play it for a while because my desktop wasn't working, but now I have a gaming PC and a new desktop that my little brother handed down to me. He plays no sports, he does no extracurricular, but he works. So he just has a ton of money, and he wants to be a streamer.
Oh boy. So
he had a really good desktop, and now he has a really, really good desktop, and this, $800 desktop that he bought was just sitting there collecting dust, and he's like, you can use it if your other one is broken. I was like, wow, is this what it's like to get a hand-me-down? I'm the oldest sibling, and I've never had like a sizable hand-me-down that isn't like clothes of my father's from the 80s or something like that.
Oh, yikes. From the 80s? Why does he still have them?
Oh, just like a jersey or something. But
yeah.
Okay.
His Letterman jacket from high school.
Favorite hobby?
I went too far away from the mic.
Favorite hobby that will help you bring success to our company.
Our what now? Oh, this?
Yes.
This is the company?
This is the company.
Well, I mean, you edit this stuff, but like in high school, that was my role in all of my group projects. I was the person.
Really?
I was the finisher. And sometimes
the finisher.
And sometimes
Superhero
the
the finisher.
Yeah, if we had to produce any piece of media, be it visual, like static image, or video or audio, I ended up producing and kind of controlling the output usually. And I preferred that over doing the research generally.
That's cool.
It was a lot of fun, and I got better and better at it. I haven't done it in a while though. I was kind of on a trajectory to be good at producing and editing things, and then
You made some YouTube videos, didn't you? Just like as a
kid.
Just like some cringy video game YouTube videos.
That actually extended a little bit beyond. Like if you track the YouTube channel, the videos got less and less frequent, but I did still make them up until like maybe a year and a half ago. But they became more and more goofy.
You literally made one of my pinned tweets a video.
Yes, I did, because your pinned tweet was so stupid that I had to make a whole video full of. It really is not meant for the outside world. That was kind of like an admission. This is for goofs now.
That was very funny though.
I
didn't realize that you made it, and so I looked like 6 months ago. And I'm like, oh my god, I missed this joke that he made probably just for me.
Yeah, when I revealed to you that I had a YouTube channel, I made that, and I was just going to leave it and let you find it. But it took too long, so I had to tell you.
Oh my gosh, it was very funny. I'll probably link it somehow. I don't know how I'm going to be releasing this, but I'll link it somehow.
It was a fun little edit to like fake going to a URL and loading your...
Yeah. All right, one sentence. Favorite sport?
Foosball.
Favorite book?
I decided that like a week ago, by the way.
Foosball?
I played foosball. I was like, this is really fun.
This is good.
I used to play soccer and
there might be something to this.
The, like real sports, but
yeah,
foosball's pretty fun.
Favorite book?
I loved Redwall when I was a kid, and it still has a place in my heart.
I listened to a couple of those on like Story on Tape.
Oh, that would be weird. That would probably ruin a lot of my mental image of it because I created the world for myself, because I read the book.
Yeah.
I bet that would be weird.
I just didn't read the book, so that was my mental image, was what this guy was reading to me.
Yeah.
Favorite city that you've never lived in?
Huh.
Where do your true allegiances lie?
I haven't physically experienced a lot of cities. I thought Boston was kind of cool though. That might be a stupid thing to say because I'm not a traveler.
That would
probably
probably
cities that I've gone to.
I mean, besides Atlanta, that would probably be the most reasonable city to go visit, by car or something like that, just based on where we live.
I had a panic attack in New York. I've never had. Okay, I maybe had 2 panic attacks. One time was because I was stressed out by a shot, and my younger brother was antagonizing me the entire time. I used to not. At one point when I was younger, I ran away from the doctor, but this time I just took it. But I was so, concentrating on it so hard, and then he was just mocking me the entire time. And I came out of the room, and it wasn't full on, but I was short of breath, and I was really uncomfortable.
That sucks.
And then this other time was in a New York subway. So
was it packed?
A lot of people, very dirty.
Ugh.
And I was having an allergic reaction to Chinatown.
Really?
I started sneezing. Yeah, it was bad. So New York was kind of crammed and kind of dirty, and I didn't love it.
Boston would definitely be a little bit more spread out.
Yeah, and I don't think I was actually in Boston. I can't remember, what would be the Bronx to Boston or whatever. I don't know. It was I think it had a different name, but I was there for PAX. Oh. So it was even more fun, and I was there with a bunch of friends. So I really enjoyed that.
That's cool.
And I've been to St. Louis. That was the air quality was bad. I
imagine so.
And for some reason, we were there for the world competition for FIRST Robotics, which we lucked our way into.
Wow.
And I don't know. I don't think anybody actually lives in St. Louis. It was kind of a ghost town. It was it was like a video game where there was nobody there.
They spent all of the processing on rendering in all the buildings and everything, and there were just no NPCs walking around.
It was really freaky. There was nobody there. It was just buildings and businesses and a sparse car here and there.
That sounds like Houston, except for when you see all the cars on the highway, all of the buildings just you don't see any people outside of them.
Yeah,
it's really funny.
It was kind of weird. I saw the Golden Arch. Not the Golden Arch. I was gonna say the Golden Gate Bridge, but the arch. Does it have a name? Is it just the arch?
I feel like it.
The St. Louis Arch.
I would say that before just the arch. You said the arch. I would Do you mean McDonald's?
They don't do that anymore. The Golden Arches. No, it's just the one, and it's a silver arch, so it's actually worse than going to McDonald's.
Yeah. It's only one arch,
I don't know
so
why
it's
I went all the way to St. Louis.
50% as quality as McDonald's
Yeah,
arches,
it's not even
of
gold.
which there are many.
Yeah, gold is also objectively better than silver.
It's rare.
Yeah, it's rarer.
All right, next question. Favorite and least favorite smells?
Oh. My least favorite smell of all time is this reeking, horrendous, frankly, shitty smell that I had. And I was in Boy Scouts and we went to the Outer Banks. And we were driving to this campsite along the beach near a ghost town. But we were kind of driving through the swampy area. And we were in a Jeep. And I can't remember if the windows were open or not. I don't think it mattered. We hit this inky black puddle and it splattered up all over the vehicle. And it reeked to high heavens. I've never seen something worse than that.
You hit actually toxic sludge.
Yes. It was overpowering. And getting out of the car, I had to be very delicate not to touch any of the sides of it because I didn't want to be near that stuff. I thought I would die instantly if I touched it.
That sounds like you're I don't know, you're secretly hunting for a tar monster or a cryptid or something, and that's the first clue.
If there was gonna be a monster anywhere in any scene I've ever been in my life, it was gonna be out there in the ghost town and the swamp along the beach full of mosquitoes that didn't go away till the breeze started and then immediately came back.
Some people think that Sasquatches are part skunk or something like that. So they a lot of people that report seeing Bigfoot will say there's a really bad smell with it.
Wow. I was not aware of that.
So maybe you found a clue of Bigfoot.
I also was slightly taken aback by the plural of Sasquatches. I hadn't considered that Bigfoot might just be one of a kind of things that exist, not one of a kind.
I mean, there are sightings all over the country, Caleb.
Yeah, but
Sasquatchy.
All of them except for the right one have to be lying. They have to be wrong. There is a Bigfoot somewhere. It's just 99.9% of the sightings are fake.
There just has to be one.
There must be. How else?
I want to believe.
That line of reasoning makes a lot of sense. All right, yeah. What?
Best smell. What's a favorite smell of yours?
You know, I started thinking about soaps, and I realized I'm not a scent connoisseur, and I'm not going to be able to name like a thing. So now I'm going to foods. If there's a smell that I really love, it's just food when I'm hungry.
So
food when I'm hungry.
So a starved Caleb loves food smell.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think that's pretty generic, but I mean, saying I love the smell of bacon in the morning is also pretty generic, and that's about the only other thing I could think of.
I'll one up you and say that Chick-fil-A smells really good.
Oh god, yeah, it does.
It has a distinct restaurant smell. Like if you walk into a McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's, they all kind of smell somewhat the same.
Mm-hmm.
But Chick-fil-A, I don't know if it's like the cleaning supplies they use or if it's specifically the food, but like the smell of Chick-fil-A is just not...
I like the smell of a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit. Their biscuits are unique.
Yeah.
That's the butter or whatever they use on it.
Yeah.
Somebody told me what it was.
You can see the butter that they put on their biscuits. They use a lot of butter.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. There's a lot of butter.
Oh,
and it's good. It is good. That was not a lot of butter.
Good. No shame.
All right, and the last thing is, what is your favorite podcast besides this one?
What is your favorite?
Because you technically work for this one now, and you cannot say that this is your favorite, because that would be sucking up to your boss.
You know, you're my boss.
Yeah, we're establishing the power dynamics in this episode.
We might have to challenge that later on. I'm gonna take over this thing.
No, Tyler's already trying to take over it.
I was trying not to retread his ground, but oops. Okay, it's a really good thing that I took this co-op this semester because I didn't listen to podcasts before the semester.
Yeah.
But now that I'm sitting in a chair for 8 hours at least a day,
doing busy work and stuff.
Yeah, I do. So the first thing I started listening to was my brother and me.
Yes!
Of course it
Yay! He did it!
Yeah. Oh, and it was good.
You start from the beginning? Or
I started...
Do you do what I do, and you start with the most recent episode, listen backwards until you're halfway through, then go to the beginning, and then you go up to the middle again?
That's actually very close to what's happening. Because what happened was, I started listening from the most recent episodes and going backwards, and I got down to the late 300s. And
so that was about 100, something like 100, right? Or what are they on now? I haven't listened to one in
I think they're on I think they're past 450, but I'm not totally sure. So yeah, it was maybe 75 episodes that direction or something like that. And then I skipped back to the beginning because I was curious, and it was rough for a little bit. The sound I didn't mind their edgier, more biting sense of humor because I wasn't upset about that stuff.
That's what people were saying. They were like, everybody loves My Brother and Me. One of the big selling points is how they're very socially aware, socially conscious of stuff.
Yeah.
But 9 years ago, they were not. They were just throwing stuff out there that they just would be embarrassed to say. And they're not gonna take down those episodes, but they're just take those up, just take the first 50 episodes with a grain of salt or something like that.
I was so surprised to hear about the lesbian apocalypse and then hear them just freaking railing on furries one episode, and then the next episode they were sending out apologies to the airwaves. It was great. It was a roller coaster ride because I was used to them, being really conscious about that stuff.
Personal growth.
Yeah.
But
significantly more conscious than I am.
But on the audio quality, they were using Guitar Hero mics.
What, really?
Yeah, I think it was Justin, the first step, or maybe Griffin, but they were talking in a Skype call, and one of them was using a Guitar Hero mic, which is hilarious.
That is janky as heck, and just perfect. I don't really know the whole trajectory of their career, but that surprises me because I'm pretty sure they were working at Polygon at that point. Were they?
I think.
What were they doing?
I forget. Was it 2013 when they started at
they started
Polygon?
In Well, then no, they definitely weren't, because I think the podcast started in 2010.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Polygon is a gaming journalism thing. Mm-hmm. They'll just write news pieces on new video games and stuff like that. With a lot of it being opinion based, so it's not necessarily objective. This video game was good and bad for this reason. It's they get more personalities to come on and I enjoyed this game, and you'll know that I enjoyed this game from 2 years ago, and it kind of,
It's essentially like an amalgamation of what would usually be independent YouTube channels or like opinion arts. Yeah, at least that's what their YouTube channel is. Like, their website, the articles they write, that's maybe a little bit different.
Yeah, so you can kind of get like, okay, this person likes that, and then of course they go and drop like a really bad article here or there, and like it just trashes their reputation. But and it's like, yeah, those are dumb. But
I remember this one YouTube video comparing a guy from Polygon playing like a gun range simulator in VR versus like just a normal YouTuber, and the Polygon guy was just like heartbroken the entire time, and he was talking in this tragic monotone about how sad he was to be playing with these guns and how unfulfilling it was, and how just frankly he was scared of how realistic the gun felt in his
was
VR
it
hands.
It was the VR one.
Polygon doesn't understand VR or guns or whatever.
It felt like shooting a real gun, and that made me scared for what I could be, just some very sappy, and it's like, that's not what people reading the article are interested in. They're interested to see how the mechanics of the game feel, and what there is to the game, and it's just like, it's just kind of silly.
Hand, they have a lot of really fun content. Brian David Gilbert.
Oh my
works
god.
for Polygon now.
He's super funny.
His resume or whatever he submitted to
his resume video.
Yeah, brilliant.
This is why you should hire me. And then he like makes a very well crafted YouTube video of.
And it's a song.
It's
a song.
Did you see that he just redid the Pokemon rap, but for all of the Pokemon through Gen 8 or something? So it's like 780 or something like that Pokemon.
Nope, I didn't see that.
It takes 8 minutes to get through, I think.
Jeez.
And he does it live. He does that video live, essentially. It's very good and worth a view. Worth the 30 minutes that the video is.
Yeah. I'm watching Monster Factory because I haven't done that.
That's really good. Me and Ainsley watch that together when there's a new one.
Podcasts.
Yeah, so you like My Brother, and Me.
I do like My Brother, and Me.
Do you listen to The Adventure Zone?
I started listening to The Adventure Zone. I just got through the arc with the racing, and now they're in the Crystal
Pedals
Kingdom.
to the Metal.
Pedals to the Metal. Yep.
Crystal Kingdom. What episode are you on?
3 maybe.
It's a long arc, and you're going to be glad when it's over because you're just going to be like ready for a new arc.
Yeah.
Because I think the rest of them are like 8 to 9 episodes, and this one's like 13 or something like that. So
Pedals to the Metal was really long.
Yeah, I mean, the fight was really long. They had like a big fight, and it was like 2.5 episodes.
I think it was more than that, but I can't. Not totally sure. Yeah, it was long, but I think the whole Pedals to Metals one was a lot longer than any of the ones before it. The 2 before it.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, by the way, the Adventure Zone is a D&D podcast, and I think we talked about it a little bit in the last episode, and probably the episode before, but it's just D&D from the McElroys, so it's kind of more goofy than serious. The McElroys.
I know that you did that before. It's weird. I want to say it's spelled McElroy. McElroy, but it's McElroy.
I've heard people with the same name pronounce it McElroy.
Oh.
Like I've seen athletes with McElroy.
Yeah, I guess it's personal choice at that point.
I just want to say it because McDonald's.
Yeah, McElroy. Yeah, no,
now I want McDonald's.
Oh dear, I don't.
I just want something.
Sorry about that.
I'm hungry. Talking about food but anyway, yeah, they play D&D and it's less serious.
Mm.
But it's still a really good story. Griffin does a good job writing everything.
Yeah, the dynamic there is that Griffin tries to construct these beautiful, magnificent stories, and maybe he railroads a little bit too much sometimes, but his siblings and his father are just constantly trying to demolish everything.
It's very funny.
It's great. It's a good dynamic, and I don't think it's sustainable for most people playing D&D.
No.
Normally, if you have that much of a disparity, it goes back and forth. He can handle it. He likes to do the goofs too.
He'll play along with it. I think I think if he didn't have that skill, it just wouldn't be as good.
He does a lot of, like, if they want to do something incredibly stupid or goofy, he will create a temporary splinter reality and go with the goof for about 5 seconds and then immediately say, no, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. And and they're kind of okay with that. They'll say like, you know, all right, this guy approaches you, what do you do? He's like, I slap him. He looks dumb. He's like, okay, you slap him and he's angry and he pulls a sword out and he kills you. And no, what do you actually do? And it's like there's no they never miss a beat in doing that. It's never like, well, actually, I did want to do that. It's like, everybody knows exactly when everybody is joking.
The funny thing about that is, if they do slap someone in the face, or if they start, antagonizing someone, he usually actually lets them do it, and he just has the character get really exasperated.
Yeah.
So the whole thing...
Jenkins.
Freaking Jenkins. Yeah, exactly, Jenkins. Got shit on the entire time. And Angus, unfortunately.
And Angie.
I think they're going to be too much Angus. There's too much Angus now.
Yeah, it's a good podcast.
And then off of them, I haven't started exploring extensively, but I've hit on a few. I've tried a few other ones. I actually do really like Radiolab from NPR. I have listened to a lot of that.
Radiolab?
Yeah.
What's that about? I've never heard about that.
It's essentially just journalism. They pick a topic. They have like a whole. It's really well produced, high quality product. And they have reporters that, or at least people that kind of go out and crawl for unique stories, and then if they find something they think is worthy of their podcast or I think it was originally radio production. I don't really know. I haven't looked at the history of it.
But they'll go out and find a story and then make a whole episode on that.
And it's really well done. And they'll bring in people and interview them, and they craft a narrative around it very well. They keep it interesting, even if it's something that you wouldn't initially think.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're so off the wall, you can't really tell what's gonna be in there from the title. And then there's things in there from like scientific discoveries and conjecture about the path that humanity might take with those things, to like inspiring sports stories. And then they have this Splinter Off podcast called More Perfect, which is about really important Supreme Court cases. And they make those pretty dramatic too, and they go and talk about or pull audio from people involved in those cases. So I really like that. And if I want to listen to something smarter, I listen to Radiolab. And I think that's kind of a stereotype, actually.
The duality of Caleb, from the Adventure Zone to Radiolab.
Yeah, I have to keep a delicate balance.
That's funny. Have you listened to Slow Burn?
No.
That's like, the first season is 8 episodes on the Nixon impeachment trials, or essentially everything that was leading up to that, where he stepped down before he was officially removed. And then they did 8 episodes. They did a season on Clinton being impeached.
Wow.
And that was really well done too. The creator of that podcast, who wrote it, produced it, was the voice that was, talking through everything. He left Slate, who I believe is the company that does that podcast, and he's going off to do his own podcast, and Slate is taking Slow Burn and making an actual documentary out of it, like an actual TV show for either those 2 cases or something else. I think an interesting one would maybe be the Bush versus Gore. I feel like that would maybe be the next one that they did.
Yeah, it feels good to come out of those and hopefully remember something from it, because it gives you a new perspective on things a lot of the time when you can kind of get insight into what was going through people's minds and like the complexities of these historical situations, and then use it to kind of compare to where we are now. Because I think people, despite the phrase, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it, we immediately forget history.
Yeah, it's bad.
Everything is compared only to now.
A lot has happened. I mean, a lot has happened in the last 30 years, something like that.
No, I know, and it's all important, but it's also really great to get like kind of a holistic picture.
Yeah.
Because then you can snap back with something really smart if you have an idea of what all the moving parts were, because people can cherry pick history on you in an argument and just destroy you.
Yeah.
So if you know what you're talking about or have some semblance of an understanding, it can be really helpful.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to have that security.
Yeah. Any other interesting ones?
I listened to an episode of Sawbones, but it was like they were talking about modern medicine in that one. So I need to explore some more. If I had to pick from those 3, which one's my favorite? I think it's now the Adventure Zone.
That's good.
Because I got really into the
That's
story.
a good choice.
Yeah.
It's a really good story, too. Me and Ainsley, I basically, she listened to the McElroys, my brother and me, and I listened to the Adventure Zone all the way through, and we were both kind of working on the opposite that we hadn't listened to at the same time. So I was spurring her on, oh, you gotta listen to the Adventure Zone, and she was like, oh, you gotta listen to my brother and me. And it was much easier for her to finish than it was for me, because there's about 400 episodes more that I had to listen to. And also, she's the one with the job that, like you said, you can listen to podcasts all day, and I'm doing classes still. But yeah, the Adventure Zone is really, really good. We're listening to the second story, essentially. He moved on from like medieval fantasy setting into an actual modern day campaign.
Yeah, I think I actually listened to like their setup episode for that one at one point before I went back all the way to the beginning to the original story.
It was really good. It's really good so far. It's been more interesting now that I'm like listening to it and paying attention. I think for a while I was like listening to it while doing something else, and I just like missed 3 episodes information and I just lost the plot. But now that I've gone back and listened to it, I'm like, oh, this is really, really good. Wow. Thanks, Griffin.
I was excited for when he started putting music into it, because I actually realized that was going to happen before the first episode where he used sound effects.
Yeah.
Because when I was looking at your podcast on SoundCloud, Griffin McElroy's SoundCloud account popped up. So I went over there and checked some stuff out, and I realized there were all these soundtracks, these little clips of music from the Adventure Zone.
It's really good music. For a while last year, I was just listening to the Crystal Kingdom soundtrack. Like, he had made about 45 minutes of music for just that arc alone, and I was just listening to that music over and over. It was really good. And it also helps that, you know, it was mostly instrumentals, and that's the kind of music that I listen to when I'm like doing homework and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, that music would probably be really good for that sort of thing. I liked he reminded me that Plantasia is an album that exists.
Oh my god.
Because the first 2 songs on his SoundCloud are freaking
remixes.
Rap remix of the song Plantasia, and then just his pure remix of the song Plantasia.
I have listened to that album so many times. It's probably over 100 times. Like, that's not an exaggeration. I've probably listened through it that many times. Just because
I'm afraid to like listen to songs too many times. Is Plantasia still a good song?
Yeah.
After 100 times?
Yes. Okay. Although I do now that I've listened to the album straight through, it's weird to hear just one song and not
the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Huh.
I kind of think of it as one song, where it's like, you know, if you were to shuffle the songs, it would just sound bad to me. I would be like, oh, this is weird. Like, I need to hear them in order now, or it just sounds bad. It sounds weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think with this information that me and our listeners will be able to make an educated decision in deciding whether or not you actually have the job here. But as it stands, you're hired.
All right.
You're hired.
Oh, dang. Okay, that was...
You're in.
I thought there was gonna
I'm making the executive decision that you're in.
Okay, is there like a potential veto?
Yeah, we get less than 3 views.
Oh, God.
Like, if people see that your name is Caleb from the title, and they're just like, I'm not listening to a Caleb.
Yeah, why would you?
I don't think I'd be able to
honestly
ask you to come back.
I would listen to a Caleb.
However, if this is our most listened to episode, you're the new host. You're in.
Okay, well, I'm gonna. You know, I could rig it.
No, you can't. Don't bot. No bots.
No, I'm gonna call upon my network.
No.
Of homies. How do you pull an audience? What is your strategy?
My strategy for pulling an audience?
Yeah.
So far, it's just been tweeting it out and sending it to my friends who I know would like maybe be interested in it, like mutual friends of me and Tyler. And also, he's retweeted it, and so it'll go to his friends, and his friends will listen. I mean, really, I don't want to. I'm seriously just doing this for fun at this point. I don't have like a ultimate goal. I don't even want to make like any money off of it per se. I'm just making it as long as people will listen because it's fun. It is fun. I think that where it is right now is it's a lot of fun, and if in the future, you know, it actually starts to get a structure to it. Yeah.
I don't know. That could be even more fun. That could turn into something.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know. I mean, you can just.
It's only the fourth episode. It's only the fourth episode, and like literally, besides those questions, I don't have much of a structure to this episode.
Yeah.
So like once there is a structure, I feel like it'll be much more interesting. But like honestly, right now it's just fun to play important.
Yeah. Yeah. Our conversation is of interest to a large swath of people.
Yeah.
Just listening to us talk for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be an hour. We're at 45 minutes.
We're at 45. Yeah. But yeah. So in older episodes, we used to do recommendations for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted this whole podcast to be just like an advice podcast. But not just an advice for very specific situations.
But not
also,
for the modern era.
Not for the modern era.
That would
yeah,
be
exactly.
just too derivative.
It would just be too much of a copycat podcast. But it was going to be a recommendation for whatever, a musician, like a YouTuber, a musician,
mm-hmm.
a creator of some kind whose content I've been devouring in that given week or month or year or whatever the structure of podcast release was, and then it was going to be introducing or talking with whoever was that episode. At that point nobody had really been on, so there was a lot of, I guess, to talk about there, introducing people, and then like some relationship advice. However, I had there's no outlet for that.
Yeah,
and like
taking questions from outside. So.
Unless you get people to like write into you.
Yeah.
You can't just go on like r/relationship advice and like find a good thing to like answer.
Just
so
read the most upvoted response.
Yeah, I know. So like that immediately fell through. So then it just was like content. And
this is a pure content podcast. If you were looking for anything other than content, you're gonna find yourself disappointed.
If you thought you were going to get no content, you're wrong.
Whoops.
Nice try.
Only content here.
Yeah.
Oops. I think I said oops too many times.
But I guess we can harken back to the good old days. Because you listened, you actually did your homework. There was homework to be done. You listened to the other 3 episodes for the most part.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the way through.
And he actually remembered, should I like have a recommendation ready? And like me 5 minutes before recording was like,
Maybe.
Great, yeah, let's talk about that. But like what I've realized is like if we just talk for a little bit, recommendations just happen naturally. You're just like, oh yeah, I was doing this today.
Mm-hmm.
That's a recommendation in a way if it's a positive experience that you're talking about.
If you take my favorites as a recommendation, then yeah, you got a lot of good recommendations from this episode.
Yeah, there you go.
You should absolutely smell food when you're hungry.
Caleb absolutely recommends you not drive over a tar pit in Florida and breathe that in.
That was the Outer Banks.
Oh, that was in, okay.
Yeah.
North Carolina, same thing.
It might be applicable in Florida. I haven't been.
I heard swamp and my mind just went directly to Florida.
Actually, I went to Disney World, but there weren't swamps.
Really?
I didn't really leave Disney World.
Oh, yeah.
It was mostly like fake constructed environments.
There was like a big monorail that would take you like from place to place.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have sworn that there were like some swampy areas that you
did
like
not ride it.
You didn't ride the monorail, then you didn't go to Disneyland.
It was Disney World.
Disney World.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Whatever.
Can't even get the name right, but you're going to come at me.
Also, screw Disneyland for not just doing Disneyland Florida, Disneyland California, Disneyland something.
Yeah. Well,
honestly,
screw people for not like having the whole plan in mind at the beginning, right? Screw people for not knowing exactly how things are going to pan out.
Screw Disney World. You're not a world. You're a land. You're on land. You're a land.
I'm sure they have pools.
Walt Disney, I'm coming for you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Avengers Endgame is about to explode the box office.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I'm seeing it tomorrow.
I saw it last night, and I'm gonna see it again Monday with Ainsley because she's out of town.
See it with my girlfriend when I go up this weekend to Boom.
This episode will not be released until. I'm probably not gonna edit this until Tuesday because I've got 2 finals on Monday, which is 2 days from now.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, I've already seen Endgame.
Upon listening, you'll have seen it, but
unless it wasn't, but it probably was.
So I'm gonna give you not a spoiler, but an opinion.
Oh,
I didn't enjoy it.
Oh God, don't. Hey, no more opinions. That's it.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at Rotten Tomatoes. I was gonna take it on my own terms because there's a lot writing on this, and I don't want my opinion tainted.
Okay. Well, my opinion is generally not that good.
I can generate, like, I will be critical of it if it is bad. Captain Marvel kind of did not work for me.
I don't know. I don't know how to say anything without spoiling it, but honestly, it was almost cheesy. Yeah. Yeah.
If that didn't come through, I was going
No more ASMR.
That's not
after the
no,
second
the
episode.
second episode happened. I probably would never have made an ASMR joke in the first place, and I was disappointed that they did. Honestly, it's overdone. It's played out, guys. No more ASMR jokes.
No more ASMR. No
more ASMR jokes.
No. I'm cutting that.
It might be. I mean, I totally freaking clipped the audio out. So
No, I clipped the audio going no. And I'll unclip. No.
I think I did it too. No, I definitely did. Yeah, there it is. Okay, we're done.
I'm yelling over top of you.
I'm done with that. You're gonna cancel it out, unfortunately.
Oh,
It's not
man.
that way.
But yeah.
It's probably really great that I'm talking to the ceiling and not the mic.
I mean,
Good luck with the EQ.
it'll be whatever. A lot of the time editing is just like changing the volume of like the input. So like if somebody's about to start yelling, I turn the volume down like 60% or something. I literally turn down like the decibels of that.
You need to make a neural network that predicts when people are about to go the frick off.
AI going off the charts. Oh my god, he's about to yell.
I sense a lull with tension building up beforehand. We should probably adjust.
That's why I want a second microphone so that you can like. I mean, ideally we've got the microphones. I've just picked up the microphone that was evenly spaced between me and Caleb, and I'm now holding it like a safe distance from my mouth, and I'm talking in a normal volume.
Mm-hmm. That's
Now I've put the microphone down, and I'm talking a tiny bit louder, but it's definitely like a little bit more echoey. It's not as good.
I think this room is definitely better than out there. I don't know how echoey it is.
Yeah, we were in my living room, which has like, we're very close to walls. We're over hardwood floors. We're on a wooden table, and we moved into my bedroom, and now we're like on a blanket covered nightstand, and we're right next to a covered bed, and we're in the middle of the room.
Look, there's a cup on the mic. There,
I can only imagine
there's
that
a
this
cup
audio quality
on
is
the
just
mic.
so good.
It has done something. We're louder. I think we're louder.
It's probably picking up the bass of what we're saying, because it's actually touching the microphone.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take that off now.
That's funny. That's a little sonic experience.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out for you.
That'll be neat. But yeah, what I want is money. I know exactly what I need. I want the money to go out and buy another microphone, essentially, and then a box that both of the microphones will plug into, and then that box will be one input that Audacity will be able to record. Because right now, Audacity, you can only input one channel or record one channel at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Which means one microphone.
Open 2 instances of
It
Audacity.
actually doesn't work. I've tried that. I've tried opening
really?
a second Audacity. We would have to get a second computer.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. You can't plug 2 mics in. I was probably not listening well enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what the looper box does, is like it basically is one input
From 2 different mics.
from 2 different mics, yeah.
That does mean you don't get the nice 2 tracks to edit later on, though, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know if there's software on the box that records so that we wouldn't have to use Audacity at that point. Like if it came with its own software where like, yes, it could have 2 tracks that you can adjust separately.
Does OBS let you record? Okay, so
OBS will record whatever your
you
computer
can add
is listening
tracks.
to.
Yeah, there is software that lets you create virtual different line ins, I think,
Yeah.
or something like that. So you could have maybe 2 audio devices plugged into your computer with this software in between you and OBS, and then have the actual 2 tracks.
Yeah, well,
But I'm not totally
herein
sure.
lies the second issue of that. I still only have one microphone. I would need to get a second microphone.
I have a blue snowball that I think I've kind of damaged.
Interesting. Well, maybe we'll experiment next time, and you can bring the microphone, and we'll try OBS.
Yeah.
That's what I
A
recorded
recording
with
session.
Ryan. I recorded on OBS, and it was just one audio file, and I was so discouraged that I couldn't mess with our audio. I thought I would be able to get 2 files, one from my microphone and one that my computer was detecting.
Mm-hmm.
But my computer was detecting the microphone that was like under that umbrella. So I just never edited that one, even though it was like a really good one, I think. I'll have to find it and edit it and release it. It's fun. A lost episode, like you said. Just playing with cups at this point.
Okay.
That's where having video would be more interesting.
Yeah.
We were talking about so I goofed up. I don't have a pro SoundCloud account, so I'm limited to 3 hours of track time. If I wanted to have more than 3 hours of track time on SoundCloud, I would have to pay like $16 a month or something like that. And I'm just not interested. So
absolutely not worth it.
So I'm probably going to start uploading on YouTube as opposed to SoundCloud. That being said, when I uploaded the 3rd episode, that crossed the 3-hour threshold. So my oldest track, aka the first episode, was deleted. Like normally they would just delete like old songs, which are like 3 minutes, but this deleted like an hour and a half.
That seems kind of irresponsible of a feature. Like, is it gone from the platform or is it just hidden from public view?
I don't know. I'd have to go in and check. I really hope that it's not deleted permanently because it gave me no notice of that. And it's on my desktop, which is fried right now, so I'd have to go into the hard drive.
There should probably be a notification, because if I had to guess,
I probably just missed.
That's absolutely there because they have to use storage on you, and they want you to pay them if you're using too much. It's probably, I think it's a price personally, but
yeah.
So they probably did delete it, but it's bad to do that and not tell you. That's for sure.
I probably just missed the notification, but oh well. I will revive that episode in some way or another. It will see the light of day again.
It will be revived like Lazarus from the tar pit.
You know, it might actually be a good thing that was deleted, because that would mean I'd have to go into the computer, the PC, my old PC, and find it to re-release it, but also I would have to find Ryan's podcast, and I could edit that and just release it as episode 1, and then what was episode, shift every episode number and just release them all on YouTube.
This is a very malleable plastic kind of podcast.
Yeah, nothing matters. I mean, we're not there's no lore to it.
This is a nihilistic podcast.
Exactly.
There is no God.
Everything sucks.
Well, that's not inherent to nihilism, but it kind of does just result from it. Unless you have to become the Ubermensch or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think you can just become the Ubermensch. I think it's a thing you are. But I don't know. I watched a YouTube video.
Theoretic Philosophy Man 300 said that nihilism requires you to be the Ubermensch.
What?
At least that's what his anime avatar said in the 20-minute theory piece.
Well, that kind of makes sense, because the Ubermensch are the people that can take the truth and handle it and carry on.
I'm making all of this up, man.
Oh, what?
I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I was okay. That kind of made sense for a second.
Well, that means my bullshit is on par.
I kind of think that means that philosophy is bullshit.
Kind of.
That's kind of a generalization. Oh, man. That's a broad statement.
Did you take any philosophy classes?
Nope.
You didn't?
Nope. That's why I'm so smart.
That's why your brain isn't mush. I took one in Wake Tech. I was never the same.
Really?
I was just depressed all the no.
Not the Ubermensch.
I didn't do the class readings as much as I should have. But I did pretty good. I wrote the papers and I did decent on the tests, and I got a B.
I did that class.
And
successfully did that class.
I showed up for all of the classes, which I can't remember if they did attendance or not. But that is saying something as a senior in engineering, where class attendance is not taken, and if they post the notes that they wrote in class, you don't have to go to class.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been to a 461. I don't think I've been to embedded system architecture in 5 weeks.
Oh, you said that on recording, and now they're going to arrest you.
I'm under arrest. And my A- will now be an F.
Oops.
Oops. Sorry.
Was that just a
Sorry, Dr.
Humble
Dean.
brag right there.
Sorry,
You just-
Dr. Dean.
You just slipped that one right in.
Just slipped it right in.
Chat's getting A's.
Well, A-.
That's an
Wow.
It's an A to me.
Tyler just liked my tweet announcing that I'm recording with the podcast with somebody and
That's-
reminding them that a third episode exists.
So sweet of him.
That's so nice of him. I'll have to record another one with him pretty soon. I don't know if he's going home for the summer. No, I think he said he's still working at his internship over the summer, so he'll be around.
You know, speaking of revivals, which we aren't anymore, is our T&D campaign coming back, or are we like restarting? I
have. So the idea was we were going to do like that base campaign,
Mm-hmm.
and then once we were done with that, once we got to whatever level 5, we would start doing stuff that I wrote myself, not like a pre-made stuff.
Get us out of Fendel.
I think at this point we might as well just go into the stuff I wrote.
Please.
I think we will.
Yeah.
Because like all we have left to do at that point is like various quests in the woods until we go and fight the big bad guy in the castle.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we fight the big bad guy in the castle, we go to the bad guy in the cave. And literally the campaign can be boiled down to that. It's all just like adding in flavor.
Yeah.
So I think if we did that campaign, I don't think we would be any more attached to our characters than we are now.
Yeah.
So
I'll get more creative with it.
So pretty
Personally, as
soon,
my character.
I think after this semester is over, I'm gonna send out a message and be like, "Hey, I'm ready to play if you guys are," because like we basically had to stop because Tyler had league on Thursday nights when we were playing, and I mean it just fell apart because we had no other time. There's just so many people in that campaign, but once the semester is over, I will give everybody the option to keep their character, or they can start with a new character, and at that point we'll just go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can have your character, you cannot have your character, because it'll definitely be a new setting.
See, my character has this awkward thing I'm trying to work through, where he has a backstory and a set of unique abilities that aren't inherently like. I want to bring out those abilities, remember, in a way that kind of fits the character's story, but at the same time I'm leveling up, and so I have them, and I don't know how to.
You want to naturally be like, oh my gosh,
this thing just happened.
I'm discovering this ability, not like you level up and it's like, oh, you can do all this now.
Yeah, I think I just need. I don't want to like start doing my own mini DMing in the corner.
I think it'd be more interesting than what we're doing now. I mean, I don't know. It's just not. It's seriously just not an interesting campaign. I just wanted to do it so that we could like. I don't know. I just thought that people would be more attached to their characters than they are now. I think besides a couple people, I'd say a few people, there's just not too much interest in the characters, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
you could change their race and you could change their name and you could change their abilities, and I don't think much would change on how like other characters interact with them. There's not. That's what it is. There's not much.
There's no personality to the characters.
Well, there hasn't been much chemistry.
Yeah.
I think that the individual characters are interesting, but like I have not done a good job at giving you the opportunities to like, oh, this character is talking to this character now. Mm-hmm. And some of us are really comfortable talking in character and some of us just aren't.
You got to maybe enforce that rule. That would kind of, I think if you force people to do voices, that the personality might follow.
Yeah. And one thing that I've done in my other campaign is like I have not forced people to do voices at all, because I recognize very early on they're just never going to be comfortable doing character voices.
Yeah. They've
done a good job playing as their characters, like mechanically, and also designing a character.
I've never done a character voice.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, that's totally fine. You can say like, I think at this point my character so-and-so does this. Like, I think he approaches this person and he says this, and you're narrating it in your voice. You're not talking in the first person as your character.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine, because it has you doing stuff. Like, if I forced you to talk as your character and you were shy to do that, if you were sort of embarrassed and like you're not into role playing and stuff like that, your character would just default to a shy person, and they would interact a lot less, or they wouldn't interact in a way that maybe they should, but you're the person talking is limiting that or whatever. So I just let people go off in third person. Like, if they have something they want to happen, I let it happen. I don't say you have to talk in a character voice.
Yeah.
Just want people to be comfortable so we can get on with it. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta lay the groundwork first.
You gotta. And I thought that's what this pre-made would do, and it just did.
And I'm a part of the problem.
Oh, you're not. It being on Skype or Discord also has a big thing to do with it too. I think if this was in person, it would be better. But I don't think that's feasible with 6 people in a DM.
I mean, maybe it doesn't need to be like 3 hours long either. But then again, we have like limited times per week, so I don't know.
I think that if I had like a set plan, I think if I railroaded more, we could get shorter periods of time, and it would be more interesting because there would be more content in those.
Have we done anything like really off the rails though?
Well, what'll happen is like we'll engage in a battle, and that battle will take 4 hours because I'm controlling like 20 different characters, and there's 6 of you guys, and it takes 5 minutes a turn for me to move all 20 of these characters individually and keep track of like who rolled what, and not even to mention like 6 people making decisions alone is a big deal, let alone. So what I've started doing is I've just started grouping all of the smaller characters together. Like, instead of rolling individually for these like 10 little goblins, I just roll once and like let them all attack at the same time or stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's something that I'll just have to get better at as a DM.
I should not be drumming on this cup. Wow.
Oops. Oh well. There'll be background music maybe.
And I will be on beat.
Yes. But I'm very excited about what I've kind of come up with that isn't pre-made. I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be fun.
Cool.
It leaves a lot of room, it's sort of like the Adventure Zone, where like there can be mini arcs where anything that I can, within reason, anything that I want to happen can happen. But like the overlaying groundwork was always the hard part, and I feel like I've kind of figured that out a little bit.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be exciting. It'll be fun.
You taking improv classes?
This is my improv class, man.
Okay.
D&D and podcasting are my improv classes. I will get better or just stop doing them.
What?
If I don't improve, I die. I'm like a shark. Keep swimming forward.
If I get disappointed, I quit.
If I get sad, I just never do it again. And I feel like that is the kind of life philosophy that a nihilist like myself should carry.
I thought you couldn't be a nihilist unless you were the Ubermensch.
Well, I get uber sad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You got it. All right, never mind. I was thoroughly ousted.
I've beaten you.
Been busted.
Listen to a lab science on that, or a lab whatever podcast.
Yes. And?
No, don't yes and me.
Ever heard the end of one of these podcasts?
It really isn't that exciting. I mean, something happens where like the music starts playing a tiny bit, and then it gets a little bit louder as it goes
so
on.
Fancy.
It's a neat little trick.
Is
I
it
appreciate
happening right now?
I don't think so.
I can hear it. I can hear it right now.
You can hear it.
Can I?
Is that lo-fi hip hop in the background that I hear?
Relax.
Is it getting louder? Caleb, I can't hear you, Caleb.
Chad. Oh God.
I can't hear you
It's so freaking. Oh no.
Caleb.
Oh, the shrieking guitar solo.
He has an alto sax.
It's a sax solo and a guitar solo.